Hi everyone, I'm Catherine, and today I wanted to share with you guys about water and structuring water and some of the science about water. It's such an important part of our daily lives and hydration, and the more structured our water is, the healthier it is for the body, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. The first thing I want to talk about is the Dr. Emoto water experiment. This was one of the first experiments I learned about when I started studying quantum physics, and it really just blew me away. It really changed my understanding of how I saw the world and my own thoughts. And I love it. I still love it so much that I actually carry a water bottle that has this print on it, which is a snowflake, and love and gratitude, which was from his experiment. So for those of you who don't know about this experiment, Dr. Masuro Emoto was a Japanese scientist, and he studied water. So one of his experiments was that he froze different water samples, and on each sample he wrote a different word. Some of these were words like love and gratitude and peace, and others had very negative words on them, like hate. And when they examined these samples under a microscope, the ones that had positive words written on them had beautiful snowflake shapes, and the ones that had negative words on them froze into chaotic blob shapes. Another experiment they did was they took water from a very polluted river and they froze it, observed it. Again, it didn't look very nice. And when they prayed over it, froze it, and examined it again, it looked much more beautiful. It again took on a structured crystalline shape. So this experiment demonstrated the quantum physics principle that consciousness, our thoughts, intentions, and words affect our physical reality. And this was really fascinating to me because I'm a Christian, and I know in the Bible it talks about the importance of our words and how important it is to guard our thoughts and the words we're speaking. You know, Jesus talked about how if you hate your brother, then it's like you've killed him. I always thought that was really extreme. But when I thought about this concept of how our thoughts affect our physical reality, it started making a little more sense to me. And the importance of guarding our hearts and thoughts took on a very literal meaning when we understand this quantum physics principle. So I really loved that. When it comes to structuring water, it's helpful to understand some of the science behind how water works. You may have learned about the 3 stages of matter in school growing up: liquid, solid, and gas. But there's also a 4th stage of matter that science has revealed to us, and that's liquid crystals. The molecules arrange themselves in a repeating geometric pattern in liquid crystals, and they have fluidity versus a more scattered, random molecule pattern. And so these substances have qualities of both liquids and crystals. Crystals are used in many of our technologies today, like computers, television, lasers, and radio, thanks to their ability to amplify light and sound and control frequencies. They're also semiconductors, and they have the ability to store and process information. This is where the idea that water has memory comes from. It's because of this crystalline matrix, due to the arrangement of the molecules, that the crystals have the ability to store information, including water in this liquid crystal state. The difference between a liquid and a liquid crystal is similar to the difference between solids and crystals. In a rock, the organization of molecules is random, but in crystals, those molecules take on an organized geometric shape. Similarly, liquid crystals also take on a geometrical organizational structure while maintaining their fluidity. Water's liquid crystalline structure is made possible in part by its hydrogen bonds. The positively charged hydrogen atom from one water molecule is electrostatically attracted to the negatively charged oxygen atom of another water molecule. In a large portion of the water on the Earth, this hydrogen bonding is random. When this happens, hydrogen bonds break and reform constantly. However, nature provides forces that can influence hydrogen bonding. Under certain circumstances, water molecules become organized and develop a liquid crystalline matrix, and this organization helps to stabilize the hydrogen bonds. This liquid crystalline water is also called structured water and is a matrix which can store energy and information. The more structure it has, the more efficiently water can store and deliver information. So in other words, water's capacity to act as a crystal is directly proportional to the degree of hydrogen bonding. So another property of liquid crystals is their coherence. This is a property where the individual water molecules are able to work together as a whole. They're able to communicate with each other instantaneously. This is similar to how the human body works. We have individual cells for different organs and different functions, all working together all at once. That's coherence. This coherence and organization is what supports the flow of energy through the whole system. Water also has an electromagnetic field. Harold Burr, a Yale University School of Medicine neuroanatomist, theorized in the 1930s that energy fields were the organizing principle that kept living tissue from falling into chaos. Burr was one of the first scientists to measure the electromagnetic field around embryos, plants, and animals. He theorized that characteristics of an organism's field provided clues to the health and wholeness of the organism. Valerie Hunt later authenticated Burr's work by substantiating the existence of a dynamic bioenergetic field around all living things, including humans. Her work described the human bioenergy field as being composed of balanced, coherent energy patterns flowing across the full spectrum of frequencies. Hunt's research revealed that chaos or anti-coherence in the energy field corresponded with ill health and disease. Today, Dr. Konstantin Kortkov at the St. Petersburg University of Informational Technology has developed a technology to map and quantify the life field around the human body and other living matter, including water. His technology substantiates the dynamic nature of water's energy field and is able to quantify these changes, which are influenced by water's structure and coherence. As with biological organisms, organization and coherence at the physical level are mirrored by coherence in the energetic field. I've mentioned that this crystalline matrix is able to store information. Energy and information is stored as vibration in these molecular bonds. This is how vibratory information is transferred in biological organisms. Much of the water in the human body is in this liquid crystalline state, and research has even shown that the amount of structured water in the body correlates to the health and age of the body as well. They're also finding that many of the substances in the body are also in a liquid crystalline state. So this is things like collagen and connective tissue, muscle fibers, nerve sheaths, cell membranes, and DNA. We know that healthy DNA is surrounded by liquid crystalline water, and this supports the stability of our DNA. So these liquid crystalline components of the body work together with liquid crystalline water to create an information network that reaches every cell. There are many factors in nature which help organize water's molecular structure. Think of a flowing river. Movement and turbulence is what allows water to breathe. It gathers energy as it circulates and bounces off obstacles in its path. Comparatively, when water is stagnant for too long, it gathers microbes and waste. So this natural movement of water is not the same as its pressurized movements through our pipes. That creates a static-like energy. In that state, it has lost energy and is no longer able to carry information. Water in nature never moves in a straight line. The predominant form in nature is a circle or a spiral. This spiraling movement water travels as it encounters obstacles is one of the ways it gathers energy. The electromagnetic frequencies of the Earth also influence the structure of water, from electromagnetic wavelengths from the sun and the subtle piezoelectric waves emitted by rocks and minerals. Minerals play a very important role in this structuring of water. That's why it's recommended that minerals be added back to distilled or reverse osmosis water, as those filtration systems remove harmful contaminants, but also those beneficial minerals. water is unable to be structured and hold an organized state without minerals. So how can we go about structuring our own water so we can receive the benefits that living crystalline water has to offer? Well, we can first look to these patterns in nature and how nature structures water and reproduce those in our own homes. It's best to start with water that's as clean as possible for this. And I'll add a note here about reverse osmosis water, because it's been found that reverse osmosis water is very difficult to structure. It's just been so stripped of everything, which is great when you're trying to remove harmful contaminants like fluoride. I have a reverse osmosis system in my home, and so I actually reached out to researchers in this field to ask them about it. They recommended adding a small amount of spring water to the reverse osmosis water, and this has been shown to really help in structuring that water. So minerals, movement and vortexes, light, sound, and even magnetism can be used to structure our water. Any of these can be used separately or combined. Plastic contains toxins that gradually release into our water. Plastic also creates a static-like energy that interferes with water's natural electromagnetic field. So ideally, it's best to avoid plastic. So we can create vortexes in our water through stirring or spinning or shaking the water. This is one of the easiest ways to structure water. You can also place magnets in the water, and this creates structure without needing to stir it because the magnets spin the ions. And then water structuring just gets more complex from there. There are so many different methods and even tools and products on the market today that can be used for structuring water. If you'd like to learn more about how to structure your water, I highly recommend this book, Dancing with Water by MJ Pangman and Melanie Evans. They go very deep into the science of water, and they talk about the many different methods, techniques, and tools that you can use to structure your water. The next step is then to add information to our water. Once our water is structured, if we don't add any information to it, it's still energetically empty. This crystalline matrix is capable of holding an infinite number of structures or frequencies, so we can use it to deliver healing or beneficial information. This is the concept behind Bach flower remedies and homeopathy and flower essences. You can deliver frequencies to your water in so many different ways. And again, that book that I mentioned goes into many, many, many different ways. But one of the easiest ways to deliver information is through your focused attention and intention. Just as we learned about with the Dr. Emoto water experiment, your intention is powerful and it's able to affect water. So you can bless or pray over your water, just as they did in the experiment where they prayed over that polluted river water. And there's also a visualization that I like to use for this as well, called light water. So I'll just close my eyes and visualize a beam of light coming down from heaven into my water. And then I'll see the water just filling with that light. See it rise all the way to the top of my water bottle, and then done. My water is infused with the frequency of light from heaven. There are so many frequencies that you can imprint on your water in this way. You're really just limited to what your imagination can think up. So I recommend using your intuition and to think about what frequencies would be best for you and see what comes up for you and how that changes over time. So I hope you think up many different ideas on how you can structure your water. If you'd like to share your experience with this, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. And if this was helpful to you, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Thanks. Bye.